In 1947, a young Bedouin shepherd was wandering the cliffs near the Dead Sea when he tossed a stone into a cave and heard the sound of breaking pottery. Inside that cave, he discovered something that would shake the world of archaeology and faith forever. The Great Isaiah Scroll, a complete copy of the book of Isaiah written over 2,000 years ago. But here, as the question, what does an ancient scroll about a Hebrew prophet have to do with the creation story in Genesis? The answer might surprise you. You see, the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls was monumental. Before them, the oldest complete Hebrew Bible manuscripts dated to around the 10th century AD. This meant there was a gap of over 1,000 years where we couldn't be entirely sure if the texts we had were the same as the ones originally written. Scribes could make mistakes, add notes, or even intentionally change things. But the Great Isaiah Scroll found in that cave was dated to around 125 BC. It was 1,000 years older than anything they had before. When scholars compared the Great Isaiah Scroll to the modern text of Isaiah, they were stunned. It was virtually identical. The prophecies, the poetry, the history, it had all been preserved with breathtaking accuracy for over 2 millennia. This discovery proved the incredible dedication of the ancient scribes who copied these sacred texts. It gave us solid physical evidence that the Old Testament we read today is a faithful transmission of the ancient writings. Now, how does this link back to Genesis and creation? While the Isaiah scroll doesn't contain the book of Genesis, its existence gives us tremendous confidence in the entire manuscript tradition of the Old Testament. If the book of Isaiah was preserved so accurately, we have strong reason to believe that the book of Genesis, which was considered equally, if not more, sacred, was also copied with the same meticulous care. The scribes who revered Isaiah's words would have held the foundational story of creation in even higher esteem. So when we read Genesis 1, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth," we can have confidence that we're reading words that have echoed down through the centuries, carefully guarded and passed on. The discovery in that dusty cave confirms that the texts weren't just the product of medieval alterations. They are deeply rooted in ancient history. But the connection goes even deeper. Let's look at what Isaiah himself says. In Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22, it says, "It is he who sits above the circle of the earth." The Hebrew word used here is chug, which means a circle or a sphere. This is fascinating. Long before science confirmed the earth was round, the prophet Isaiah, whose words we now know were accurately preserved, described it as a circle, and there's more. In chapter 42, verse 5, Isaiah writes, "Thus says God the Lord, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spread out the earth and what comes from it." This idea of stretching out the heavens is a powerful, dynamic image. It resonates with modern cosmological concepts like the expansion of the universe. Isaiah isn't just recounting a static, one-time event. He's describing a creative process with ongoing power and vastness. The language used is poetic, yes, but it's also startlingly congruent with what we now observe through telescopes. Think about the implications. The prophet Isaiah, writing over 2,700 years ago, uses language that aligns with scientific discoveries made thousands of years later. And thanks to that shepherd boy and his stray stone, we have physical proof in the form of the Great Isaiah Scroll that these are the very words he wrote. It wasn't added in the Middle Ages to sound more scientific. It was there all along. This brings us to a profound point. The Bible isn't just one book. It's a library of interconnected texts. The themes of creation aren't confined to Genesis. They ripple throughout the entire Old Testament. The prophets, like Isaiah, constantly refer back to God as the Creator to establish His authority and power. When Isaiah wants to comfort the people of Israel, he doesn't just say God is with you. He says the God who created the heavens, the God who spread out the earth, is with you. Creation is the foundation of His entire message of hope and redemption. The consistency is remarkable. From Genesis, through the Psalms, and into the prophets like Isaiah, the portrayal of God as the masterful creator is unwavering. Psalm 19 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." Isaiah echoes this, framing God's power and wisdom in the context of his creative might. The narrative is seamless. So, that discovery in 1947 did more than just give us an old manuscript. It provided a physical anchor for our trust in the entire textual tradition of the Old Testament. It validated the careful, reverent process of transmission that preserved these ancient words. When we read the creation account in Genesis, we can do so with the assurance that it's not a tale that was altered and twisted through time. It is part of a grand, unified narrative that was held sacred and protected. The great Isaiah scroll acts as a time machine, allowing us to see that the words of the prophets and the story of creation are deeply intertwined and authentically ancient. It shows us that the foundational beliefs recorded in Genesis were the same beliefs that inspired prophets centuries later. It's a testament not just to a preserved text, but to a preserved faith. The story of creation isn't an isolated myth. It's the bedrock upon which the entire biblical narrative is built. And the proof is written on a 2,000-year-old piece of parchment found by a shepherd in a cave by the Dead Sea. What an incredible story, isn't it? It just shows that sometimes the most profound truths can be uncovered in the most unexpected places. If you found this journey into history and faith as fascinating as I did, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We have so many more amazing stories to uncover together. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.